Jesus says we must be like little children to be part of God's kingdom. Now this means we must be dependent and trusting and have faith in our dad, our Father God. If he says something to us, we believe him because we trust him. But children become adults and we become self-focused and cynical. We concoct our own beliefs instead of believing every gospel word. We even listen to man and to preachers more than we listen to God. We impose our judgments and our fantasies and expectancies on others. But Jesus says he laid down his life for us. Yes, this means his physical life on the cross, but it also means he laid down his judgments, his criticisms, his expectancies toward us. And we should do the same thing. Now in this parable, Jesus begins to reveal his insight into how we think and some of the basic problems with humanity. He actually says, "To what shall I liken this generation?" And what are they like? People are basically like children, although not necessarily always of the good, positive, childlike heart type. One group of kids here has been trying to get another group of kids to play with them and do things their way. Now in Christianity, we might say you got to join our church and you got to agree with us and believe what we believe. But there is disagreement, and even though we've done all they could to get the other kids to play with them and be interested, it didn't work. Now it might be said the first thing they tried was to pretend to have a wedding. They played the flute, it says. And next they pretended to have a funeral. It says they mourned, but nothing worked. Now Jesus says we will have obstinate, offensive people in the world that we have to deal with. This is just the way the world is. It's not our job to try to change it or get angry or frustrated. It's just our job to respond to it the best we can. Now people in general are foolish, and like the silly children, they don't always know God. But we should live spiritual lives. We are meant to be teachers to some degree and not always needing to be taught. We often love ourselves and love money and aren't very forgiving and don't display a lot of self-control like we should. But living the gospel, it gives us spiritual power. And this is why Paul says to fellowship in the gospel. We should not just be playing childish games and arguing over dumb things and fighting over opinions we can't possibly win. But we should have childlike, open, receptive hearts to things of God. And boy, the gospel really gives us this.